Sean Combs, the rapper also known as Diddy, is now being seriously considered for a pardon from Donald Trump. And I don't need to tell you, this is all happening while Epstein is back in the news cycle and Donald Trump is considering pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. I guess in some ways this makes sense. But Megyn Kelly, who is a far-right conservative political commentator, is very, very upset about this and is pushing back hard. Now, remember, Donald Trump, when asked about this, now there's a lot of rhyming when it comes to the way he talked about Ghislaine Maxwell and other people he has pardoned. He said this a few months ago when asked about whether or not he was thinking about pardoning Diddy.
Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
What you did not hear in that, I mean, this man is losing his mind. Was that even coherent? Could you follow all of that? That's the weave, I guess. But what you didn't hear in that long-winded answer was a no. That's what you never hear from Donald Trump when he's asked of whether or not he's going to pardon someone and he ends up doing it. He never says no. He says, well, I can. Or, well, he's treated really badly. Or, well, he really used to like me. Well, now we're learning from Deadline that very well may be true. And Donald Trump has previously said this about Diddy.
Working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy?
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, wow. I think he's a good guy.
He thinks he's a good guy. He's also said the same thing about Jeffrey Epstein, and he's also said that about Ghislaine Maxwell, where he just wishes her well. So here's a bit of the story of Donald Trump is now seriously considering a pardon for Sean Combs. White House officially says nothing, which is very telling. Donald Trump is heavily weighing giving Sean Diddy Combs a full presidential pardon ahead of the convicted Bad Boy Records founders sentencing later this year. Nearly 2 months after Trump publicly entertained the notion of a Diddy pardon in an Oval Office gaggle, a comprehensive get-out-of-jail card for Combs is being, quote, seriously considered, an administration source tells Deadline. Additionally, several sources of the much accused and currently incarcerated All About the Benjamins performer has been pitching the White House. Other insiders confirm the topic has leveled up from just another Trump weave to an actionable event, since Combs was found partially guilty in his New York City sex trafficking trial earlier this month. Of course, as a number of parties attest, this being the roller coaster of Trump world, any decision on Combs' pardon is in flux until POTUS actually makes his signature on paper. And he's been in jail for a long time. He got denied $50 million bond, and now we are learning this. And when contacted by Deadline, Sean Combs' defense team, led by Mark Angifilo and Tenny Garago, had no comment on any pardon talk for the client. Well, no comment's no comment, but I think not saying something certainly does say a lot. Wouldn't you agree? Now, before we get to Megyn Kelly's response, I want to remind you that this man is not a good guy, and he's in there for the right reasons. Now, he was found guilty of sex trafficking, prostitution, and he also was seen doing this on camera.
Use against music mogul Sean Diddy, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs assaulting his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video. There is no audio.
Yeah, really disgusting stuff. So he like chases his then girlfriend down the hall while he's in a bathrobe, not even a bathrobe, a towel. He pushes her down on the ground and then starts to kick her. And this is just what we have seen. Now, the stuff that's been alleged, we can't even say on this channel or I'll be demonetized. It's that bad. And it all came out in court and he was found guilty. And Megyn Kelly was very, very, very adamant about the fact that this man actually got off kind of well because he could have been behind bars for a long time. But instead, he's likely going to get 2 or 3 years and he might not even get that, according to Deadline. Now, here's a little bit of what Megyn Kelly had to say.
I don't know whether Trump actually is, but I'm here to urge him not to even consider it, and much less to do it. It would be an absolute disaster. It would be a miscarriage of justice. He doesn't deserve it. Okay, first of all, just to put it in terms Trump can understand, Diddy can't stand you, Mr. President. He was once nice to you. He's turned on you, and he doesn't deserve a favor from you.
Isn't it really interesting that the first thing she says, the reason why you can't pardon him, Donald Trump, isn't because of the crimes he's committed, isn't because of the reasons why he got convicted, none of that stuff. Is because he doesn't like you. That's the way you appeal to Donald Trump. It's insane.
And on top of that, and more importantly, he is a serial woman abuser, the likes of which we haven't seen in modern America, at least not on the public stage in this way. He is a repeated serial abuser.
I feel like we could, I'm going to have the editor do this. I think we could just repeat what she just said with a picture of Donald Trump and it would still make sense.
Abuser, the like that, and more importantly, he is a serial woman abuser, the likes of which we haven't seen in modern America, at least not on the public stage in this way. He is a repeated serial abuser.
So yeah, Donald Trump is everything Megyn Kelly is against, and yet she's for him? Doesn't make sense. Regardless, I'm going to ask you who's watching right now, do you think that Donald Trump is going to pardon Diddy? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more people to see this video, hit like. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We're almost at 700,000 subscribers. Insane. I'm very grateful for you. Thank you for doing that and making that possible. And I'll see you next time. Bye.